Alright, so we ain't gonna act like we ain't got the next Chaos King right here. Thank you to our final patrons, Strawbones, Red4765, and Midnight Gemlord. Now, before we have this breakdown and discussion on the literally insane in the membrane potential of Tristan, the Prince of Leonis, please and favorite leave your own thoughts on Tristan potential in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure to hit that little notification bell to miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do a Patreon down below, in support for as low as $1 a month, including exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, you can now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, let's hop into the discussion. What's up, guys? Uncle Pencil here, and yeah, So Tristan, out of everybody to this day, even with how powerful Lancelot is, even with how insane the kit that Gawain could possibly acquire, and as indubitably numerous new abilities that Percival will definitely go on to acquire, I still say, out of all the characters we have seen in the entire series, and that means everybody, like except for literally chaos itself, which is infinite possibilities personified, Tristan has the most potential for growth, for development, for abilities, for everything. Because he arguably, not even arguably, like really, is it really an argument? Is it truly and honestly an argument? He has the strongest lineage that literally could ever feasibly exist within the Seven Deadly Sins verse. Unless like Chaos made another Chaos and had a kid with that Chaos, like that's the only stronger lineage you could get. Because guess who his great grandpappy is? It's Chaos itself. Bada bing, bada boom. Who's his grandmama? The supreme deity. His grandpappy, the demon king. His pops, the strongest demon king, demon whatever, to ever roam this earth. Who's his mama, the strongest goddess. Not, like, it's arguable whether, if you think, nah, it's not really arguable. Like, Elizabeth isn't stronger than her mother. She never was. But regardless, the strongest goddess, not including the supreme deity, to ever exist. And all that potential, all that power, all that ability is locked within Tristan Leonis. And just doing a quick recap over the sheer hacks alone. Let's not even talk about the raw power, which is insane to think about on its own, but the simple hacks alone. You got to realize, just based on his lineage and his two existing species, realistically he's three, but we'll get into the human part a bit later. We'll get into the little human sauce a bit later. But just on his goddess and demon abilities alone, he should have the ability to rip out your soul, access to one of the most malleable and perfectly moldable defenses and offenses to ever exist. He also has the ability to wipe you from existence by simply erasing you through manipulating light particles. Top that off with the fact that he should have a longevity of a way greater than 1,000 years. Combine this with the fact that Broski should have full and total access to the abilities that allow him to heal from pretty much any injury ever due to having both of the insane regeneration, which at its highest ends on both fronts have allowed you to completely ignore the flame that kills immortals that he also has access to. On top of that, literally having the ability to recover over half your body mass at the same time. 7 different hearts, or at least definitely 7 different hearts. Stock this with the fact that he also has the ability of flight, the best healing in the like, you gotta realize, on just basic abilities alone, Tristan is cuckoo for Cocoa Buffs. Like just alone on what he has as being a demon goddess hybrid. And notably, he doesn't seem to suffer much from that, despite darkness and light seemingly being biometrically opposed, inherently opposed, light literally preying on darkness. He seems to be a relatively healthy child, so he doesn't have to worry about that, so he just gets the perks of both sides, which is insane on its own. And then you got to think about the extra sauce he could hypothetically inherit from his parents, because even if Elizabeth never manifested a true magic, or a supreme deity tier magic, or anything of the sort, Meliodas did. He has access to Demon King tier magic. He also should have access to Supreme Deity tier magic. And let me remind you the level of power those magics had. One made you just entirely immune to all physical attacks. The other made you get to inverse the effects of all magical attacks, essentially making you completely ignorant to all abilities that pertain in this mighty magical verse of ours. Then on top of that, he has super existence erasure, like straight up, not just, oh, I'll hit you here and you'll die. No, I'll hit you here and the you in another dimension, an entirely different time space, will die. That's also what he has cooking in the back pocket. He could hypothetically have access to, though we haven't seen it, mainly because he haven't really had a chance to use it yet. He could have access to full counter, either its variations, which are two of the best techniques in the verse if you don't have access to the Supreme Deity or Demon King level magic. If you don't have that yet, like, just that alone, the array of abilities that he has access to through his lineage, cracked. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's just insane. And hypothetically, due to him being the seemingly perfect balance between darkness and light, it is not out of his repertoire to literally develop chaos powers. Like, I'm not kidding. Straight up. Because all chaos is described as is a being of such great light that the goddess clan was willing to suck their toes, and a being of such great darkness that the demon clan was willing to throw it back in fear. So you gotta realize, Tristan, being that perfect, beautiful, wonderful balance of both light and darkness, the Twilight Prince, if you will, could hypothetically gain access to the reality warping powers of the creator of the verse. It's entirely reasonable. It's entirely reasonable. That's why I think he could be a next Chaos King. Even if he's not the next vessel for Chaos, which who knows? We're not sure what they'll do with Chaos after they beat the life out of Arthur. But hypothetically, they don't even need the original because they have the remix. And once again, just talking pure hack slash. The last couple minutes was just me talking about the sheer array of abilities that Tristan has access to. Sure, the chaos may be a bit of a stretch, and all the unique magics may also be a bit of a stretch, just because we know, just because your parent has a magic doesn't mean you'll end up with it. But even still, the abilities of both the basic clans are crazy. And you gotta realize, being a demon and being a human means it's highly possible that bro has two unique magics, because unlike the goddess clan, due to being special for some reason, him being a high level demon and just a regular human, he should have a unique magic for both. He should have that special sauce for the human side and the special sauce for the demon side. What that special sauce will end up being, no idea. No clue. It could just be a Demon King level magic. He could just get that. And that could explain why he hasn't awakened it yet, because he's so afraid of his demon side. For his human side, as much as we clown on humans in Seven Deadly Sins for the most part, they have some really good abilities. Like controlling gravity, manipulating wind, creating explosions, controlling electricity. Like, humans have crazy the ability to see the future, even if vague and ominous at times. Like, you gotta realize humans are pretty cracked. It's just that they're not that strong. Oh, and speaking of that one little thing I just mentioned, strength. Tristan also has the power to be literally the strongest creature. Like, straight up. Once again, due to being the dark light hybrid that is the child of the strongest darkness to ever exist outside of chaos itself, and arguably the strongest light to ever exist outside of the supreme deity in chaos itself, bro has like stupid levels of power. Like, you gotta realize, until chaos was introduced, Meliodas was the strongest character in the series. Like, verbatim, hands down. There was no debate until chaos was introduced that Meliodas stood at the pinnacle of the series. Elizabeth, top 15. Pretty easily, I'd say. Like, she doesn't have any feats against the Prime Demon King, unfortunately, but neither does Gother. So, it really doesn't matter. So, her level of power being able to damage the regular Demon King, you know, the guy that was zeldris stacked on top of the 10 Commandments, that's a crazy feat in of itself, and she has that in her human form. Her gains are that immaculate. So, you gotta realize the level of power that is available previously in his mom and pops. And admittedly, Elizabeth was pretty young. Like, magic only grows stronger as you're older, seemingly, in Seven Deadly Sins. And Elizabeth was, what, 17? At the time that she was fighting against the Demon King in Zeldris' body? So who knows how strong she actually is now, if she's been training these past couple years. And if Meliodas is any indication, if bro is so powerful that Chaos King Arthur is looking at him like, yeah, you know, Meliodas is enough of a threat that I don't legitimately just appear and wipe Leonis off the map, Tristan has some sauce in him. even for just a 16-year-old. And let's talk about that fact. Already, in terms of insane potential, Tristan, at age 16, is able to scoop fused chaos commandments. Now, admittedly, I'm in the camp where I believe that, it's kind of random whether or not they're equal or weaker or stronger than their original selves. I don't take Galen's statement at face value. I'm sorry. Galen the Great is known to overestimate himself on occasion, so I don't believe that Escanor couldn't just one-shot him again if he really needed to. So with that being the case, it's still extremely impressive that when faced with the fused combination of Galen the Great and Malaskil the Mid, that Tristan, with his bare hands and Demon Mark, managed to scoop it out. Scoop it like smooth ice cream. Like a hot knife through butter. He straight went, zoop, bada bing, bada boom. Malaskil was torn out. It got even more vicious. It got tragic. New paddock and the redraws for the volume. So it is nasty. It is mean. It is crazy. You got to realize, Demon Tristan is this powerful while barely having control of himself and also having no sacred treasure. Bro's amps are from basic swords. Sure, they're named nice things. Mael and Esterosa. That's cute. That's a nice reference. They're regular swords. They're nothing. They're just cool blades that he named for Uncle Mael. That's it. That's all Bro's got in him. So imagine what happens when Bro gets his hands on a sacred treasure. And we gotta realize, Bro has forms, on forms, with forms, by forms, loving forms. Seriously, due to his hybrid genetics, he has base. He has 2-wing god estate. He has 4-wing god estate. He has 6-wing god estate. He has all the various levels of those states with Triskelion. Then he has Demon Mark. He could hypothetically get access to Assault Mode. We don't know if he has access to a true magic form eventually far down the line. And top that off with the fact that he could hypothetically fuse these forms into hybrid forms, like we saw that 1 Goddess Eye, 1 Demon Eye with no wings or anything like that. Bro has so many various levels of power already. Guys, we aren't even to the 100th chapter yet. We have gotten nowhere near the level that Tristan could hypothetically reach, and he's already this powerful, second strongest of the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse. Already, and the gap is girthy. Don't get me wrong, I do believe both Gawain and Percival can play catch-up. Percival especially, because all Bro needs to do is die a couple more times. Bada bing, bada boom, he'll be back up stronger than ever. But with that being the case, the gap between him and Gawain, 2 and 3, oh, that bad boy girthy already. And Bro hasn't even gotten a taste of mastery over either of his sides. As he admits, despite bias, unbelievable bias towards his goddess side, he's like, oh yeah, I can't heal as well as others do. Oh yeah, my enchantments, they're neat, but they aren't as powerful as mom's would be. I'm nowhere near as powerful as my mom yet. But he's already this strong. He took the whole Percy platoon, which was annihilated by the Tristan platoon because they got ganked, and healed them back up to full, like that. All he did was pop out the eyes. No wings, no nothing. Bro was casual about it. He's already that powerful at 16. The potential Bro has for growth is crazy. And we gotta realize, he hasn't even, the stronger side of him. I've been pushing this narrative since forever. But the demon side, the dark side, does seem to be inherently a bit stronger than the light. And as we can tell by Meliodas' own lack of control over Tristan in that state, and Tristan's own lack of control over himself in that state, Bro has barely had any training with it. Bro doesn't even know what he's doing. And we got to realize, even if he doesn't have Assault Mode, there are multiple levels of Demon Mark. There are multiple levels of darkness he can release. And we haven't even seen the start of it, the tip, the taste. The moment he started to get a little bit too lost in that dark sauce, he went un poco loco. And considering you need to be able to direct your power, yeah, it didn't end up working all too well. So he just ended up flying around like a crazy demon boy, which he admittedly was. But that's the thing. We are starting at such a high point. This is the big thing I have with Lance. I'm not sure how much higher Lance can go. Legitimately. You're already stepping on Chaos Arthur. I don't know what training you could do. I don't know what's your next level. I remember making the Lance potential video thinking Bro could be crazy, but I didn't think it was this crazy. I legit don't know where he can go other than wings and a spirit spear, something like that. What else has Bro got? What else is Bro cooking? Meanwhile, Tristan hasn't even turned the stove on. Bro hasn't even stepped into the kitchen. That's how much he's cooking. Like, legitimately, if out of all the characters we've introduced to in Fortnite, if someone had to come to me and say, hey, chill out, let him cook, it's got to be Tristan. More than the MC. More than the MC Percival, who has shown on multiple occasions that all you need to do is hit him really, really hard, or just straight stab him through the chest, and he will come back stronger. I have more faith in the cooking potential of this random little demon goddess hybrid than I will ever have in Percival, because he's just different. His lineage, too strong. The abilities he could have access to, too crazy. The forms he could reach, uncountable. Bro has already shown us what? One, which is just Triskelion Eye, half demon, half goddess eye, demon mark, multiple levels of demon mark, considering we've seen him get consumed by darkness. Then the 3 different levels of wings he had. That's like 7 forms already, and bro's barely scratching the surface. I think we gotta realize, if there's anyone who will be cooking, anyone who will be preparing the freshest and finest of meals in the long run, it's going to be Tristan. Because Tristan is going to be unstoppable. And if anyone is truly going to rise and challenge Arthur, outside of our MC, because obviously, it's Percy. Like, well, unfortunately, this is kind of like the back of our head. Like, we all know, no matter how crazy Tristan's potential is going to be, he's never going to really surpass Percy. But in reality, if we're just looking at it at face value, ignoring the meta narrative and going all with what the narrative itself has told us, even Nakaba himself, you got to realize, the ironic thing is, Tristan was so broken that Nakaba said, hey, I'm going to change main characters. We gotta remember, when 7 Deadly Sins ended, Tristan was supposed to be our MC. But I think Nakaba literally sat back in one of his rare moments of power scaling clarity and was like, hold on a second. Can't introduce him too soon. I can't start writing with him, because if I start writing with him and he's the MC, he's gonna be too cracked. He's gonna be too crazy. And sure, we had the Lancelot problem, which is indeed a problem. But that's the thing. The Lancelot had special training. Percival's magic specifically allows him to get stronger every time he almost perishes or directly perishes. Gawain has a magic that literally incrementally gets her stronger naturally, on top of an insane kit that she was taught. Tristan is running with bare minimum fundamentals on both of his halves with no training, no exploration, no nothing. Bro's done nothing but live his life. And he's already this strong. So imagine what happens when he has to spend 3 years in the world beyond. Imagine what happens when he actually gets a competent teacher that's willing to show him how to use his powers. Imagine what happens when he's actually pushed to his limits and pushed to the brink. All his friends are dead. Push him to the edge. Imagine the power. Once again, I just want you to take a look back at Meliodas. Every time that boy went berserk, every time that boy was pushed to his limits, he pulled out that little bit of special sauce, or he got clapped. But at least seemingly, due to the lack of immortality curse placed on Tristan, I don't think we're going to see Tristan get packed. But what I do believe is we're going to see Tristan packing up a whole bunch of people. However, that's what I think. I think Tristan's potential is absolutely through the roof on numerous different fronts. If I had to say, he will probably end up being, unless Nakaba really wants to push this Lance narrative, like, unless he's really like all over Lance, which I don't know, based on his writing preferences, he may just be, then Tristan should reasonably be the second strongest character by the end of series, if not the strongest. If we're being non-meta, he should be the strongest, just on sheer lineage and power and what he's shown so far alone. But knowing Nakaba and knowing the main character syndrome that happens in every series, it's probably going to be Percival by the end. But regardless, these are my thoughts on Tristan and his potential. So I want you guys to leave me your thoughts on Tristan and his potential in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notification bells to miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a page down below in support for the soul as $1 a month. You'll links to videos, early content, and more. Also, you can become a member to the channel for as little as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.